Hey guys, welcome to Oh Happy Plants. This is Veronica and I am back with a fun little horrible thing that I did. It's right in front of me. But first, a few little things. If you are watching this on YouTube, we have an entire member tutorial community that's totally free. It's available at let me remember. If you just go to ohhappyplants.com, it's linked at the top, or you can go to members.ohhappyplants.online, and that is the tutorial community where you can submit your questions, and I will make tutorials to answer them specifically. And I'm a super nerd, so I love doing that stuff, and so it's really fun for me, and it gets good information out there. I'm really good at asking questions, and like, I will email the head of horticulture at some prestigious university if I have to find your answer. So there are plenty of ways to get answers, and I am really persistent, so feel free to bring me your questions. Today we're going to talk about how ZZ plants act, and specifically this whole idea that they don't need very much water and then people don't water them and then they freak out because they start dying. Like this. Here we go. So I could say that no plants were harmed in the making of this video, and that is entirely wrong. This plant is somewhat harmed, and I'm sorry, baby plant. This guy was a rescue, and I put him in my soil, and it's the grassland blend. He really, really, really loves it and started growing like crazy. And then I didn't water him for quite a while because I was like, let me just show people what happens. And so he will grow back. So let me tell you about ZZs. We all know they have this weird, like, lumpy potato looking bulb under the ground. If you have a ZZ plant, or even if you just go to a nursery, just pull it out of the nursery pot really fast, take a look at the roots. They are weird as heck. So basically, I'm gonna turn the camera. You have your plant. You have the need to angle the camera down a little bit. You have these stalks that come out of the ground like this. You have dead leaves everywhere because I suck. And underneath here, there's this kind of like weird lumpy potato with like dangly roots hanging down from it. And that is a piece of the reason folks say that ZZ plants don't like a lot of water. And that is actually not true. They will drink a lot of water. The lumpy potato is in response to the environment they are found in. They have evolved so that they will die back up top. They'll kill off all of their stems. They'll pull the moisture from the stems into the lumpy potato root. Then that just sits there underground until it starts raining again, and then they send up new leaves. And so, like, you could almost think of it as a deciduous plant, even though it's not necessarily a seasonal change. Well, it's seasonal in that weather changes seasonally. It's not seasonal because it's not a response to cold, because these are a tropical plant. Or subtropical or something. Anyway, so this plant, in response to a drought, it will pull all of the moisture out of the foliage, stick it in the roots, and just wait. Because it doesn't want to die, and it's not dying. Like, this plant is not dying, it's just strategically killing some of the top parts to keep the whole rest of the plant alive. And so I'm actually going to show you, let me pull this out of here. Might be easier to maneuver if I do this the right way. Right here, you can see right there where this is yellow and that is green. Now, every ZZ plant has a point on the stalk. Right here, you can see it right there. There's this green part, and then up here it's going yellow. Every ZZ plant has a point on the stalk where it naturally will prune itself. And that is specifically because it wants to be able to keep the plant alive without having to keep and support all of the growth up top. So it will kill off whatever it feels like killing off just to keep the roots alive. Because if you have healthy roots, if you have happy roots, then your whole plant will be fine. It'll come back when there's rain. And so I let this guy dry out for probably 2.5 months. And this is what it looks like. And this is what it's doing. And so if people are telling you that you're overwatering your ZZ when it's been dry for this long and it's starting to go yellow, know that this can be a response to overwatering or underwatering. And this right here, the way it's doing that, now if the whole entire stalk was going yellow and the soil was wet, that means you overwatered. That means it's too wet. But because it's killing it back right to here, it's just giving itself a haircut because it can't handle having this many leaves because it doesn't have enough water, or it hasn't. I did water it last night, and because I just felt so bad. I was like, I gotta shoot that video tomorrow. This is too far gone. Anyway, so welcome, I guess, to my dedication at getting good plant care information out there. This guy will be fine and has water now, and I'm gonna spend the next like 6 years apologizing. And anyway, so that's that. I think I was talking to you about the website. Go and join that membership site if you have questions to ask, or if you just want to see me being crazy. Eventually I'm going to be starting to give away products on there. If you want to, let's talk about soil a little bit. This is the grassland soil. And you can see that there are actual rice hulls in there, like that's like the shells around a grass seed, basically. And those help to aerate and fluff it up and also provide a place for nutrients to hang on to and moisture to hang on to. There's pumice in there, and I actually just reformulated this soil to include lava rock as well. And this specific mix is for dracaenas and ZZ plants. And any other plants, like, I feel like ginger might be more of a grassland thing. I'm not entirely sure, I'd have to look that up. But any plants that are found in the African grasslands or any other grassland in the world is going to love this soil because it has a very high rock dust component. And I can't call it minerals because that would be implying that there's some kind of nutritive value in this soil, which I'm not allowed to do if I'm going to sell it without labeling every single thing and registering it in every single state. So basically, government was not built for small business, but there is rock dust, and there's plenty of it, and I include all sorts of yummy stuff, all sorts of like location-specific plant food ingredients, alfalfa meal, and this one has flax meal, and I believe kelp meal, and quite a few other things that are just meant to really encourage roots and encourage the health of the overall plant. And so this blend I really love because this is actually, I'm going to get the plant out of my face now. It's actually one of the things that really sparked my interest in getting to know soils and the specific places that they come from impacting how good like our soil choices are with the plants. The plant's native habitat has a lot to do with what it's adapted to, you know, like everything to do with it. Just like based on where people are from in the world, our skin tone varies. Like my ancestors are from like Germany and Ireland and Wales, and so I have very light skin. And with plants, how that manifests is they have adaptations, just like I was talking about the ZZ plant, being able to kill off the top, die back to the roots, and then come back after the rains start. That's because it's from a climate that gets a regular season of drought and then another regular season of rains where it grows and grows. And so it really wants to be able to maintain during the drought and still be a healthy plant, but it can't necessarily support all of the growth that it has. So that's what it figured out how to do. And so with that, every different type of soil in every different region has different characteristics. So in the grasslands, you're going to see rocky soils that are extremely rich because with grassland, grass grows for a season, then it dies. And that organic matter is packed down. The new blades shoot up and then they die and are packed down. So over the years, there's this huge, rich humus layer. So with a soil for those plants, you want it to be extremely well draining because you don't see giant like boggy areas out in the grasslands. All the water just goes right through down to the water table. So you want it well draining, and then you also want it to be really, really rich in organic matter. And also most of these soils, like especially like down in Africa, they have a lot of volcanic ash and volcanic rock and stuff like that as the base layer. And so when you're looking at the soil choice for your houseplants, you want to be trying to mimic what is naturally found. And with these guys, they like a really high mineral content. And so you can get that with volcanic ash, volcanic rock dust, any kind of, like also glacial rock dust we add in there. You can get that way. And then also, because of the whole drainage thing, and because a lot of these roots are used to, especially with dracaenas, they have a taproot. It goes straight down. If you unpot a dracaena, you're going to notice a fibrous network of roots, but you'll notice that the main big thick roots go straight down to the bottom of the pot and then just start curling around the bottom of the pot. And that's because normally in nature they have a taproot that just goes straight down into the earth and anchors that big tree into the ground so it doesn't just topple over when it gets windy. And so if you think about all of that and then put together my experience over the past 7 years with indoor houseplants, we would get shipments from Hawaii, California, and Florida. And the plants from California and Florida, the dracaenas, would notoriously fail faster, especially if they were put in lower light conditions, than the plants from Hawaii. And so we were like, oh, well, I guess Hawaii just knows how to do plants. But then I looked at what they were planted in, and the Hawaiian dracaenas were planted in this really specific blend that had, that it did have some peat moss in there to retain moisture because they do need moisture, but it was planted in a mixture of lava rock and other things. And so I was just like, oh dang, like, is this the difference between excellent dracaenas that last forever, basically, and these other dracaenas that like get all sorts of issues, like leaf issues and what people would call overwatering, but really what it is a plant that's stressed from too little light and maybe has too much water and too compact of soil. And then it gets a bacterial disease that maybe it brought with it from the nursery, but it just had a weaker immune system because of all of those issues due to bad soil. So I looked at that and I was just like, well, shit, I better fix this. And I created all these soil blends. So this grassland blend is really excellent for these types of plants. And I would totally recommend that if you're looking at mixing your own soils, look at where the plants come from as your guide. And that is the number one thing. And if you don't want to do that, or if you just kind of want to get some soils to play with to see what the plant's like, go ahead on the ohappyplants.shop website and or ohappyplants.com/ohappydirt, I believe it is. You can find it just on the Oh Happy Plants website. We have photos of all of our soils on there. We have descriptions of like kind of what those plants like with climbing tropicals, we give them a super chunky mix that it's really grippy for their roots because their roots will wrap around things and grab on, and they also want really good drainage. So just think about that when you're putting together your soil mixes for your plants, and they will appreciate it, trust me. Anyway, I am gonna go clean this little ZZ up, and actually let me just show you. With this one that is almost all the way dead, this will actually just snap off right here. Come on. See, it just snaps off just like that. It has the dead part and then it has the little live nub down in there. And that will stay alive. Like over here. This one already did that. At another season of drought, again, this is a rescue, so I'm nursing it back to health, and then I did this to it, the poor baby. But this one had already done this, and see, this stem is still alive. It's just chilling there, but since it did that, it put up several new stems, and so it just does that. It's just a natural piece of the plant. And so when it does that, what I like to do is leave them on until they're very, very dry and desiccated, or water the plant and then give it a few weeks. It will continue to pull the moisture out of these leaves, and it uses that moisture to regrow the root hairs while it's trying to work on being able to draw up more moisture from the soil after it rains. So it's always good. If you see yellowing leaves, it's not a waste of energy. The plant is actually using the water from those leaves, if it's going through a drought, to regrow the root hairs so it can actually uptake more water later. If you pull those yellow leaves off, chances are you'll get more yellow leaves in the future. So just keep that in mind. And if you need more info on that, look at our video on firing leaves. It's, I believe it's in with like in with the tutorials, I think. Anyway, I'm gonna stop blathering and I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'm gonna go and apologize to this little plant. So I hope that was helpful. I hope this was a good example for you guys. I really hate to do this to my plants, but I feel like this was necessary to illustrate a point. So I will go and baby this guy. Have a great day, you guys, and Happy New Year tomorrow. Bye.